and tell you how I'm glad for having you here for this presentation. I hope this can make you think about your previous life again. Okay, now let me start. Have you ever been in the slump? Yes. This question is something anyone can say, yes, I have. Then, can you define the meaning of slump? What is it? Is it just abrupt time which makes you hard? Well, if you answer like this, I bet you don't know well about the slump. Please take a look at the screen. Here's the slump. You can see a big wide hole in the ground. That gray area is called slump. Then how about bring this to life? Let's guess there's a girl from one of the 5 steps in life. The first step is twinkling. As you know, if you start something new, everything's going to be exciting at the first time. And so do she. Though lots of moments make her feel like she's good at it. She could be enthusiastic because of those accomplishments. But when the second step came, she incurred some hardships. She couldn't focus on what she's doing, let alone she's good at it. It's like it isn't suitable for her anymore. So she got to give up to avoid those kinds of bad feelings. And she called this a slump. Isn't it interesting? Come to think of our failures, you've always stopped working hard at the second step, only at the second step. Then, what's next to this? Truth be told, there's never going to be a third step for her as long as she stays at the second step. And honestly, that was me. I couldn't look forward because of the hardships now I faced. Then, what could be the next step? It's a step of efforts. To go to the higher level, I should have tried to pay attention to what I was doing. This may seem unstoppable and unreasonable because we can't see any other outstanding development to this. But people who keep trying hard on this step can go to the next level, so-called reward. At this step, people can feel stable and worthwhile. That's why they keep working hard on their works and finally get to the last level, success. Now, I want to ask you one question. When you look back at your life, how many successes did you miss like me? I could guess because I've been there. When you're in a slump, it can be hard to remember that this period is not going to last long. But I think if we really want to go to the next level and be successful in our lives, it's time to forget about naming some period a slump. I don't think there's going to be a slump if we don't call it like that. Then, what was the reason of this huge mistake? I think it's because of the way of thinking. When it comes to thinking, what kind of words do you come up with? There can be lots of things such as idea, consideration, and worry. Among this, I want to emphasize that we have to differentiate between thinking and worry. Then, why should we care about the difference between those two? Because worries does not necessarily mean the real meaning of thinking. Everything has two faults, but when we are in worries, it's really easy to forget this important thing. And that's why we can't see the bright future ahead of us. And this is why we got to fail just in front of a successful life. How pitiful. Even if we can also be successful by standing this term, we run it by ourselves. So you gotta break this bad chain binds us if you want a success. Now, let's get back to the slump picture. The period, which is called the end of a life, actually, it's just only the beginning. So it's really necessary that we get the worries out of the mind if you want to go to the next level. And top it off, we have to try hard to separate ourselves from all the negative thoughts. Even if it does seem too huge to handle, we can go through it just like we felt at the first time. I believe we all have the power to break through the rough times. So just remember, don't let yourself overwhelmed by meaningless worries. Thank you.